not funny.
Not funny, I've got skew.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Third Act. Why do you laugh at me? Every time we do this, you just laugh at me.
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure you want to laugh at me when I do mine.
No!
It's like, hey guys!
No, but anyway, hello everybody, welcome back to Third Act, and welcome to the finale of the season. We are talking about the last 4 shows this week, and we are so excited. So the Palm nominations will be announced March 2nd at 8 p.m. on Facebook Live, so make sure that you are following the Palm Awards on their Facebook page. So the last shows that we will be talking about today are going to be Ash Girl from Nicky Rowe High School. We're going to be talking about Rock of Ages from McCallum Memorial, Into the Woods from Pioneer High School, and Carrie from Mackai. Alright, let's get right to it and let's talk about the first show today. It's going to be Ash Girl from Nicky Rowe High School. I didn't get to see the show.
Typical.
Hey! Look, listen, I had a busy season. I'm a working gal. I'm a girl boss. So I was on about making some money. Not like that. You know what I mean. So, let's go right ahead and talk about Ash Girl. Because I didn't get to see it. So, Javi, who saw it? Round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, on the comments. Please go off and tell Javi how great he is. What did you think? First impressions?
Okay, so this is another show that I had never heard of. I went in literally knowing absolutely nothing. I didn't even know, anything at all. So I went in and the curtains were open, so you were able to see the set. I enjoyed the set because it was very open. I liked it because it was very interesting. So there was a stairway going up, straight up on the left. And then there was another staircase that kind of went in a spiral on the right. And both of those had platforms on top. Okay. They didn't connect. It wasn't like a walkway underneath.
Like when they did Into the Woods?
Right. So it was separate. Because they were 2 separate sets, if that makes any sense. Settings. So they weren't connected in that way. But everything else happened in that open space in between the 2 staircases, and then some of it came out onto the proscenium.
That's cool.
And then they had a few things that happened in the audience, but very few. So there were little moments like that.
They're very good about doing that. Nicky Rowe does that a lot.
Yeah, I like when they use the part of the house that's right behind the first section, because it kind of gives the people that sit further back a little bit of they get to see it a little more up close.
Yeah, I like that too.
So I like when schools do that because it kind of allows everybody to be engaged. For those of you who don't know what the story is about or what the play is about, it's a take on Cinderella. So Cinder from the ashes, Ash Girl. So it's a different portrayal of the fairy tale of Cinderella, which I thought was pretty cool. And honestly, I didn't get that until about 10 minutes in.
I'm screaming
because there was hints, I guess, but then her stepmom comes out, and then her two sisters come out. So I was like, this is Cinderella. And I think Gina was watching the show with us. She's like, yeah, that's the point. I was like, I didn't know that. Another thing that was cool about the storyline is that they also added a little bit of the 7 deadly sins into the story. Yeah, that's how I felt. So when they first started appearing, I was like, what is happening? When I say it's a take on Cinderella, from what I got from the show, the 7 deadly sins are these spirits that kind of roam around, and it they not possess your body. not like possess your body, but like they make you do things.
Oh, okay.
So like they're used as like an explanation for why certain things happen in the story.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So like when I got that, I was like, okay, that's interesting. That's a cool like twist on it.
Yeah.
So with that, I'll go into the costumes. So what I liked the Seven Deadly Sins, the characters. I liked their costumes. I do feel like each of them kind of told their own story, like with how they were dressed. I feel like each of them told a story with how they were dressed. So for like for example, Sloth, the character Sloth, he was like, he looked kind of like a bum, and he was also like not put together. Like his shirt was untucked.
Same.
Like he had like he had like pieces of clothing falling off of him. Like, and then he was very like sluggish. And
Same.
then we have like the Greed. Greed was a monkey. So like each of them represented like a seven deadly sin, but they were also like animals, kind of.
I wish I could have seen this.
Honestly, I really hope I'm getting the story, and if I'm not, then I'm really sorry. This is what I got from the show.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is because like, so for Envy, it was a snake. Yeah. And the student who played Envy, spectacular. Literally, it was like this green, like, I don't even know what it was. I don't know if it was like, I don't think it was a dress, but it was like very like big and like flowy type thing. But the way like they moved around was just so.
That sounds so cool.
Dude, yeah. And the way they spoke too, like it was like a very slight emphasis on every single S. And so that's how I got like, oh, okay, like I get it, right? So there was like the green monkey, snake, you know, like you get, it was really cool.
Cool.
I really wish if you guys saw it, awesome, because I thought that was pretty cool. Like I thought that was pretty interesting.
That sounds really dope.
Overall, as an ensemble, I feel like the cast really worked well together. And I feel like the characters had their distinct personalities, and you could tell like that they put some effort in like realizing who the character was, and portraying that on stage. I think for me, the people that took my attention quite a bit were the stepsisters. They, I don't know why, but like they reminded me of me and you. Because they were constantly like not bickering. Not that we bicker all the time, guys. We love each other. But like, you know, like we fight like siblings fight. So it just reminded me of like some of the conversations we have like super late at night, or like when we're arguing about things. Like, but every single time they came out, they would say something that just literally sent me. Like I was just like, oh my god. The last thing I'll talk about for this show is the lighting. Because the lighting for this show I really enjoyed, because it played with a lot of color. So like each Seven Deadly Sin kind of had like their own color scheme with their outfit. And so whenever they were like the focal point of the scene, the lights like alluded to that. So like, for example, like with Envy, like the lights would be like a kind of green tone, and it wasn't just one color, it was like layers. So that's, I think, what I enjoyed the most, because it was cool. Like, it wasn't just like, okay, now it's green, now it's red. Like, it was like layers of different shades. And so like, for me, that really like drew me in. So I really enjoyed the lights on this show. All right, so moving along into our next show, we're going to be talking about Rock of Ages from McCallum Memorial. So this show we saw together, and we'll talk about your first impressions first, since we talked about mine the last time.
Oh my goodness. Were you gonna go off?
Yes. What did you think when you first walked in?
Okay, well, first impressions for this show. I like the way the set is. I like that they had the main stage right in the middle, like that little stage. I wish it was a little bigger. I honestly wish that it could have all been brought just a little forward, but I think they needed the space for the dancing, and I wish it was just a little more forward, but I think it just has to do with spacing and the way that their stage is designed, so that's completely fine. But I like how they used their space, in the sense of like the levels that they had for their actors was just perfect. this is an iconic show, and we could hear people like singing along with the kids, and I was just like, this is a concert, man. Like, they wish they could be back in this day, like just singing these songs. Like, it was dope. It was really cool.
Yeah, shows like this, like jukebox musicals, like Mamma Mia, like
Yeah.
I feel like those are really good, like audience engaging musicals.
Yeah.
Because I mean, most of the audience that's watching the show is gonna know the lyrics to the songs.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's also kind of more nerve-wracking because they know the words to the songs. But honestly, like I think for me, I really like the set too. I think for me, what did it was the levels, the different levels that they had to play with.
It was really cool.
I agree. I think maybe some of it should have been brought forward a little more.
Or maybe angled, but I don't know. That's just what I would have done.
Yeah, but I mean, like you said, like once the entire ensemble came out, I was like, okay, well, you kind of need space for these people.
Yeah.
But what I did like about the way they use their space, just piggybacking off of that, is that one thing that is, it's not a pet peeve, but like one thing that I don't like to see is when there's levels for these actors to use and everybody is not on them. Like they're all on the stage. And I think this show did a really good job of not doing that.
Yeah.
So like you had people dancing on this level and then this level and then this level and
yeah.
like even in the audience.
Yeah.
So I feel like they really, really utilized their space really well. Going into the choreo a little bit, I feel like it was like in tune with the time period. If that makes any sense, like the 80s, like rock and roll, like things like that. But I feel like it could have been a little amped up.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I wanted more like rock and roll type of thing.
Well, I don't agree with you, and that's okay if we don't agree. But I think they should have done a little bit more of that rock and roll, like you're saying. But to me, it was more like dance, like in the sense of like performance-y. And I wish I could have seen less of that and more of the grunginess of the rock and roll. But that's just, again, my opinion does not matter.
Yeah, but, I think it also goes into like the execution of what's choreographed. Because I feel like you kind of have to add, like, especially in musicals like this, whatever's choreographed, there should be like little instances where you can kind of add your own flavor to it. Like, I think one thing that I like about that is that, like, you're dancing as a character. Like, you still have to remember that.
Yeah.
So, like, I think it could go back to, like, maybe making sure you're getting all the moves kind of thing. Which, been there, done that. But I feel like I wanted more of, like, those character aspects. Like, I wanted it to, I think it would have looked more natural if everybody kind of put their own, like,
I agree with that. Yeah.
Like, they look like they were having fun.
Yeah,
honestly,
I really like this show.
I wanted to get up there and dance with them because it looked really, really fun. And so, I don't know. I think when I see, like, performers enjoying themselves, it just kind of, like, you just can't help but enjoy the show, too.
Yeah, those actors were really into it. That's what I like about shows like these. It's like, you get so into your character that it's like, you're showing them who the character is. It's so unique, and they definitely did that. I'm so sorry, but we're gonna have a lot of standouts in this video. Sorry, not sorry. But I do want to talk about a few people. Okay.
Pop off, sis.
I'll go ahead and start with Joseph Garza. Bro, yo, this was your show, man. Like, this character sent me throughout the show. Like, I was looking forward for that character to get on stage. You can't tell me that he was not funny. He was so funny. The tongue thing. Oh my god, I can't talk.
Dude, no. I think for me, what did it were those moments where
when he started singing in Spanish.
No. So, no, for me, there was these moments, and I don't know if it was a choice or not, but it literally sent me, like, it was good, in a good way. Like, I loved it.
This is all good.
But there was moments where he would, like, deliver his line to, like a really, like, great line to this character, and then he would be like, look at the audience, like, that was good, right? And it just killed me, like, I was like, what? But I think it added so much depth to the character because the character is, for those of you who don't know the storyline of Rock of Ages. He plays
Stacey
Jax, who's like this big time like rock and roll like star, and he's like too good for anybody type thing. So like it just added so much more
it did.
To the character for me, and it was fantastic.
Yeah,
like you should be so proud of that performance.
The next person that I want to talk about is Drew.
Okay.
He was played by Ian.
Mm-hmm.
Ian Yamada. Yeah, I don't want to butcher your name. I'm very sorry. Your energy was off the charts.
Next level. Next level. Literally to the roof. Like
to the roof. Like if they challenged you to like bring it up, you brought it. The only thing with that, man, is that sometimes you can lose a little bit of the control in the character or the control in like your delivery. And there was times, but dude, I wish everybody had your energy, man. Like that was really, really cool. And it's a lot easier to tell somebody like bring it down than bring it up. Because some people just don't bring it up at all. You brought it. You brought it. You did
or
a
they
really
think
good job.
like bringing it up is just like a little bit more.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. It's definitely easier to like dial it back than it is to. So honestly, you're on the right track.
You brought it, man.
But I think going with standouts, I do want to talk about the actress who played Anita, Aliyah Hernandez. For you, you were my favorite. She played like this hippie character that was like leading the fight against not closing down the club and like all this stuff, but her energy was just so great.
Yeah.
And she literally was so engaging. Mm-hmm. Like she was in the moment, like on that stage. Yeah. And I think for me, she was the epitome of fearless. Oh. Like I feel like she literally just like, this is my character, love her, hate her, like whatever, like this is what I'm gonna do. And that just like warms my heart, because it's like really cool to know that there's people out there that are her age that are just so willing and so like generous with their gifts, because it's just like pouring out of them, you know? And I think that's what makes it really a great experience as an audience member. But another person I have to talk about when it comes to like standing out for me is Mariana Valdez. She played Hilda, who was leading the other side of this battle, where she was wanting to shut down the club and all that. Your voice, if you're watching this, hello, I'm a huge fan. Your voice is insane. Like, I am gonna stop singing after this, because
oh my gosh,
it was so powerful, dude. Like, I was sitting there like, what the heck? Like, I love strong voices in general, but like yours is like up there for me. Like really, it really is, because it has so much like texture to it, and it's very like piercing, but in a good way.
Yeah,
like it, like it's like I'm here, you know, and I love that. So honestly, congratulations to you, congratulations to the whole cast. You guys really stepped it up, and like it was just a fun time overall, honestly. Like I don't think I can say that I didn't have a good time, because it was a really good show. Yeah.
So let's go ahead and move right along to the next show that we need to talk about, and it is going to be Into the Woods from Pioneer High School. So what did you think? First impressions, tell me everything.
Okay, so when we got there, the curtains were closed. And I like when shows do that, because it's kind of like a big reveal, like with the set. Mm-hmm. So we got there, I was like, okay. Obviously, at this point, we've seen many renditions of Into the Woods, right? We've seen the movie, we've seen it done here several times.
It's a classic.
Yeah, it is. So we got there, the curtains were closed.
We did get there.
Yes, we did. An hour early.
Yeah, we showed up an hour early.
Yeah, because I got the time wrong. It's okay. It's a story for another day. Anyway, so we get there. The curtains are closed. So I like when schools do that, because it's kind of like a reveal, especially when the set is like super extravagant, because then you're sitting there and you're like, okay, and then the curtains open and you're like,
yeah,
you know,
that happened with me.
Yeah,
I really like the set.
When the curtains opened and the show started, I was I loved the set. I think this was probably one of the more detailed sets that we saw this season. When it comes to like the little things that they did to make it look like realistic. So I think for me, I really enjoyed the set and the levels that it created.
Yeah.
So on stage left, you have the baker's house and the bakery. And then there was a platform that went across the stage, but there was a staircase that came down the middle. And then over here was Rapunzel's tower, and there was a door leading to, I think that was part of the castle.
Yeah, I think that was also either Cinderella's house or
yes.
too. Yeah.
Yes, it was Cinderella's house also, because a lot of her scenes happened there.
Yeah.
So it was definitely a big set. It took up the entire stage. I liked that it was brought forward a little.
Yeah.
So there was like pockets of space where they could do stuff and it didn't look like it was too cramped. But I especially liked the details with the trees that they had. And I think for me, what's the word that I'm looking for? Like the set wasn't stationary. So during the part with the giant, the trees fell, and the way that it was done looked so cool to me.
Yeah.
Because it like the trees were falling, but nobody was on stage. So it was like, who's doing that? Like I don't know. Like I mean, I do know how they did it now, but like, it was really cool. Like I feel like it made the audience kind of like, you know, like, oh, like damn, like how did they do that? So I really enjoyed the set, and I really liked how it wasn't just like a one trick pony type thing.
Yeah.
And there was like different aspects that they added into it that made it like come to life. I think the costumes for this one were really cohesive. I feel like there wasn't really an outlier for me.
No. It was very, very well done.
Yeah, I feel like they all went together well, and they were specific to the character that they were playing.
Yeah.
But there wasn't a specific one that I thought like, okay, that's weird.
Yeah. The sisters.
Yes.
Cinderella's sisters' costumes were so cool. Like,
yeah.
And you could tell the difference between them and Cinderella, right?
Yeah.
And with the mom.
Yeah. I think for me, the costumes do just the right amount of like feeling like a storybook, but also feeling realistic, in my opinion. So I really enjoyed the costumes for this show. I thought they were great, and as far as like the storytelling aspect.
Let's just go right ahead into acting because we have a lot to say. I really like the show. Okay, so the first one that I do want to talk about, it's actually two. I had already mentioned them, but I really liked Cinderella's sisters. Like they were so unique. Florinda and Lucinda, so Caitlin Carr and Miranda Luna, they were really cool. Like I really liked the energy that they brought into the scene because it was that typical look at me kind of like character, which is hard to play for a lot of people. If you would think that it would be really easy, but it's hard to play for a lot of people. I really liked what they did. Every time they came on, like my attention fully drawn to them. Seriously.
I think what helped too was their chemistry.
Yes.
Their chemistry together, which is really important when you're in like a pair like that.
Yeah.
Any kind of pair, siblings, lovers, like best friends. Like you have to have that chemistry, or it's just gonna fall flat.
Yeah.
And I think for me, their comedic timing was really on point too.
Definitely.
Because the characters, especially in Act 2, are used for comedic timing. Because spoiler alert for those of you who don't know, they go blind. And so honestly, like. In Act 2, that was just that was hilarious. When it comes to acting for me, I do want to talk about Bianca. So Bianca played the witch. For those of you who know Into the Woods, that is like the most iconic character of this musical.
And probably one of the hardest characters to play.
Yes, played on Broadway by none other than Bernadette Peters. But the role is very, 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 very demanding. And you really, really have to know the character, know what's going on in her mind, what she's been through, where she's headed. Like, you have to know all of that going into it, because it really adds to who she is and the dynamic that she has throughout the show. Bianca, if you're watching this, I think you did an excellent job at that. I feel like you did show quite a bit of range of emotions throughout the show. You made me laugh, you made me cry, you made me like hate you, and then you made me like, oh, like I feel bad, but also you're a witch, and it's like, oh.
The beans.
But yeah, I mean, it was a really good performance overall.
Yeah. Speaking of chemistry, like there was a lot of pairs in the show.
Yeah.
Okay. So like the chemistry between the baker and his wife, I like that too. But also the chemistry between the princess. Not the princess.
I was like, the princess?
Cinderella's prince and Rapunzel's prince.
Yeah.
Like, it was very, very nice. And to my understanding, it was their first time doing a show.
Yeah.
Amazing job. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I think their chemistry was good too. I feel like their song serves as like a palate cleanse almost, because it's like very comedic.
Yes.
And I think they did a really good job at like portraying that, like, look at me, like, you know, like I think that was really cool.
And shout out to Milky White. Thank you.
Oh my god. For those of you who didn't get to see the show, Milky White was played by an actual actor. His name is Alexis, I believe.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, Alexis Cuellar. I've seen many renditions of this show where it's just like a stuffed animal, or like a paper mache cow, or like a stationary thing on wheels, like and this one honestly took the cake for me. Like, I think he did a really good job at making it like funny, but also like he knew when it was time to like be a cow, you know. But like, I think it was just really cool how he portrayed the cow and like did all his little hilarious. Funny like side things.
Like his reactions to what the other characters were doing.
The noises he would make as the cow. But yeah, I think the acting for this was really good overall. Yeah. So this musical is iconic. And it's very, very difficult to perform. So this was the first musical, like when I saw this musical, it was the first musical that I had encountered, like way back when I first heard about Into the Woods and all that. It was the first musical that I was like, holy crap. Because like most songs are like, I'm singing on the beat. Yeah. And this is literally, throw all that out the window. Like, it's literally so, you have to know where you are.
Yeah,
like,
very hard.
You have to know where you are in the song, because the minute you lose it, it is so difficult to get back on. Yeah. Unless you know the music. Yeah. So one thing for me, I wanted to preface it with that because I don't want it to sound rude or harsh, but I feel like there were moments where they weren't necessarily on where they were supposed to be. But another thing with not having to sing on the beat, the audience doesn't really know that, especially if they don't know the show. So it didn't sound too off to me, but because like I know like where you're supposed to sing and how it's supposed to go, I caught those little moments. So I feel like for me it was maybe putting a little more into rehearsing those songs that were like, and it wasn't every single song. It was mostly like the group numbers. And there were certain solo moments that I was like, okay, like you're almost there. Like,
but you know what it is for that is you just have to know your characters so well that you know their intention behind singing every line, and you have to do a lot of table work for that.
Yeah,
it's not. I know most of the musical is done singing, but you can definitely break down this musical and do a table work and just go at it like. And talk about the meaning behind why I'm singing this, and talk about the meaning why we're going into this, right? Because Sondheim did it with a purpose, right? Yeah. Like, he didn't do it just because. I mean, this musical is so meaningful. So yeah. I agree.
and the underlying themes behind it, like you can hear those in the songs. So it's not just like a musical theater song. Like there's definitely like pain, sorrow, like agony in the songs.
Roll
so
credits.
so yeah, like I mean, I think it does go with that. It goes hand in
Yeah.
hand with like knowing who your character is. Also, there were a few standouts for me though, and I do have to mention them. So I'll go first with Jack. So Jack was played by an actress, which I think has been done before.
Yeah.
And because he's supposed to be a little boy, it makes sense. Because,
Yeah.
you know, like he's supposed to have a high-pitched voice, and sometimes the songs are a little higher. So it either has to be played by a little boy or a female. With Jack, I think she did a really good job portraying the character. For me, with her song Giants in the Sky, it's one of my absolute favorite songs from the musical. I feel like it could have been brought down.
Yeah, because
Like
they did it a higher key.
Half step or so. Yeah.
They did a higher key.
Just to accommodate her voice. Her voice was not bad at all. But I feel like there was definitely moments where I felt like, oh, like don't strain. But
also like I could sense some fear with going that high.
Yeah.
And it makes more sense to do it lower in the sense of you can do a lot more with the acting.
Yeah.
Because you're at a comfortable space, so you're not even worrying about that. So you just do the song and you put more emotion into it. Yeah, I agree with you. I wish they could have done it a step lower.
And I think for me, the standout for me vocally throughout the whole show was Bianca again. I have to say, I've been very blessed to see several performances by people who have played the witch that are just so great. And it's really, it was just really awesome to see you perform. Vocally and acting wise, like I said, the role is very demanding. Physically also, like it's just it's a lot. And I feel like you did a perfect job of like marrying all those things together and just making it look so natural.
Yeah.
So
it looked effortless.
Yeah, I really enjoyed your performance, and even the way you moved, like around the stage, was just so like you just like glided. Like it didn't feel like now I'm gonna enter my scene. Like it was very natural, and it was just so like it grabbed me. So congrats to you, congrats to the entire ensemble, the cast. You guys were great. Like I said, this musical is not easy to put on, and you guys did it. And now you have that on your resume. So
you
awesome.
did Sondheim.
Yeah, I know. All right, so moving on to our final show of this video, but also our final show of the season. We're going to be talking about Carrie from Mackai.
What?
Were you surprised? So, yes. So this was one of the most recent shows we saw. It was right before Little Shop. So I'll just start. What were your first impressions?
Alice Mom, I love you. Yeah, every time we go to these shows for Mackai, Alice Mom is just a ray of sunshine. And I appreciate you. I love you. They had a really cool setup of like getting in the mood of what the show is about. They had a video going on, like the news were going off about the fire that happened in the school and everything. Like it really was very immersive in the sense of like there was smoke in the whole building, right? Like the smoke came into the hallway of Mackai, and I was like, oh my god, it's so smoky, it's so cool. Like I thought it was so unique. And then the show starts and it's very in your face. Let me just tell you that I had never seen Carrie in my life. But I really like this movie, and so I was just wanting to see what they would do with it and turn it into a musical, right? A very unique start. We started the first song with a lot of dancing, a lot of the kids telling you who they were in the show, and it was very unique. You can tell what kind of characters were on stage. kids that were afraid of what was going on, kids that were very sure of themselves. Like, it was very, 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 very unique in my eyes. And then we start with Maddie also at the beginning of the show, which was amazing. We love Maddie.
I'll go off about that later. But continue.
But yeah, I thought they did a really good job with setting up everything, especially with like the lighting and the mood. I thought it was perfect.
I think for me, yeah, I agree. I think the ambiance at the beginning, A1. But I feel like every Mackai show that we see does a really good job at like setting that mood.
It was just something about it was very special with this one in my eyes. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I feel like okay, well, for those of you who don't know the story of Carrie, it's basically about a girl in high school who finds out that she has telekinetic powers. She's grown up in a very, very strict religious household. She's raised by a single mother. And it's kind of like a retelling of the events that happened because you start the show at the end. So Maddie, who played the character Sue, who kind of becomes like the narrator of the story, it starts with her being questioned by the police about the incident that happened at the school. Going into the show, if you didn't know what the incident was, it does a really good job at like setting that groundwork. Yeah. So then the show becomes her retelling the events, but she's actually like reliving them. So it's a really cool way to tell the story, but basically like Carrie's ridiculed and bullied, and so Sue comes around and she decides to befriend her and all this stuff, and then all the chaos that ensues throughout that. But I think for me, guys, I mean, I said it time and time again, I love minimal sets, and this I ate it up. I loved it. I feel like when schools are able to give you that illusion of where you are without a lot of set pieces, I think that's my bread and butter. Like, I just love that so much. And I feel like not only did they do that with the songs, but like the characters, what they were wearing, like the environment, like it was just really cool. But for me, I loved this set. It wasn't much, but it did its job. And so they had staircase and then a platform, staircase and then a platform, and then the same thing on the other side. So it's very symmetrical.
Like a mirror, yeah.
Yeah, it was very symmetrical. And those levels were definitely used. Loved it.
So you guys know, and if you didn't know, I'm not a big fan of minimal setting. But I'm a big fan of it when you use your space wisely, and they definitely did that. I'm not a big fan of like minimal setting and then one person on stage at a time. It never happened. Aside from like a few seconds.
When it was supposed to.
Like when it was supposed to, yeah, absolutely. But they kept the light focused on that one spot. See, and that's what I like when it comes to minimal setting, and I really liked it. I do want to say, let's just start talking about tech in general.
Okay.
I do want to talk about the telekinesis because I wish I could have seen just more of it.
Okay.
We saw 2 instances before the prom where she was like messing around with it, right? I just really wish we could have seen more. Like more things that she would move, or maybe just like in scenes in general, like when they're talking to the whole class or something like that. Like that would have been really cool. I don't know. I don't know, that's just my opinion. Again, my opinion does not matter.
No, I mean,
I'm gonna tattoo that on my neck.
I can agree with that. I think there could have been a little more, maybe a few more instances where we saw it. But honestly, like, I feel like I enjoyed it because of, and I didn't really mind it because of how the story was told. Like, I feel like going...
Oh, yeah, it didn't take me out of the show. Absolutely not.
Yeah. But I feel like it really...
But thinking about it afterwards.
Yeah, like, I feel like it really... They all did a really fantastic job with those characters. Like, I don't... Dare I say that this show is perfectly cast. Like, I don't think you could have put anybody else in those roles. and like sorry not sorry, like, but really like it really worked. And I don't even want to just talk about like the main characters, like the people in the ensemble did their work. Like like I mean it was stunning. Like I mean it was very believable, very natural, very high school. Like I felt like I was back in high school, which was not a fun time for me. And it was just I really enjoyed the show. Like I really enjoyed the show from beginning to end. I'm not gonna beat around the bush. I saw it 3 times. It was the only show going on that weekend. And I was like, why not? Like, I mean, I enjoyed every second of it.
Look,
and
let's keep going with what we have to talk about before we go off on tangents.
But anyway, sorry.
Let's tell them why we liked it so much. But let's just jump right into choreography, because this choreography needs to be talked about. Absolutely stunning. Ricky Flores, we love you. We love your work. Absolutely amazing. I thought it worked so well with the show. And I know the show is not a dance-heavy song. It's not a dance-heavy musical, but they did it so perfectly. But you know why? Because they were in character and they knew who their characters were. And I spiral thinking about the show because I loved it so much. The choreography worked very well. A lot of movement, a lot of like storytelling within their bodies. I thought it was so artistic, so unique.
But it was also
it took my breath away.
Very high school in the sense that like these weren't super intricate dance moves that these high school kids were doing. Like, but it was very like in tune with like the vibe that these kids were giving off. Like it was very young, it was very hip, it was very like, you know, it was with the music and it was with the setting. Like it made sense, which is what I loved about it. Mm-hmm. But I think going off of that, I do want to go into the singing. Because guys, I have so much to say.
I'll let you go off because I'm not gonna get a word in.
I literally am just gonna like go off about these main characters for a second before I talk about the ensemble, because I cannot forget about them. So, okay, Evie, girl, I was blown away. Like, first of all, I just want to preface it with the fact that after the show, I went to listen to the soundtrack. Underwhelmed. Super underwhelmed. Anyway, that's all I'll say.
Who did Evie play?
So Evie played Carrie. Evie played Carrie, and she did
basis.
she did such an excellent job with the vocals for the show. And honestly, after hearing it, super demanding. Like, I didn't think her role was gonna be so vocally demanding. I felt like most of it was gonna come from the acting and like, you know, being ridiculed and all that stuff. But like, the songs are so insane. Like, she just did a fantastic job with it. Sorry, go.
It goes hand in hand with knowing your character.
Yes.
Right? Because you have to really know who Carrie is and the struggles she's had in order to portray that with the songs. Because she had really strong songs and Evie killed it. There was a part in the prom where she would go from this like really strong belting into this scream that was just from it's like
the pit of her stomach, bro.
Oh my God.
It was insane.
And it's so funny because I've felt that before and I've always wanted to do that. And girl, you gotta teach me how to do that. Also, okay, did you want to be part of the show? Because in the middle of it, I was like, can I jump in? Because
dude, it was
so good.
It was such a great experience overall. But the next person I want to talk about is Bailey. Bailey, I cannot say your last name and I'm so sorry. I really am sorry. This is the wrong playbill. Anyway.
Where's the playbill?
Well, I know how to... their names are on the back of your
Oh! Here's the cast list.
I'm not going to try because I don't want to butcher it. But
okay.
Bailey played Chris Harkinson, who was like the mean girl of the story. Girl... That's all I'm gonna say.
Look, he hasn't stopped listening to The World According to Chris.
Yes.
But I really think he would really like your version of it instead of the one that's on the soundtrack.
100% took the words out of my mouth. But anyway, I loved your performance. I thought you were the perfect mean girl. Like, I really believed everything you said and sang, and like your mannerisms that you added to the character were just insane. Like, I loved every time you sang, because I feel like it was so like that kind of singing, like it was like poppy almost, like kind of like it had a little bit of flavor. Yeah.
That's your kind.
And yeah, I love that. So I think for me, that's what did it for me. And you killed it, girl. Like every single night that I saw it was just so good. But the next person I want to talk about is not a secret that she's one of my faves. Maddie, if you're watching this, my queen.
Our frozen queen.
You're amazing. You are out of this world, like unstoppable. All the adjectives, girl. Like it. Oh my god, I could listen to you sing for the rest of my life. Like you just really brought that innocence, but also that strength to the character with your voice and with the way you portrayed the character. And I just was blown away by every single performance that you gave. It was, oh god, I can't. We have to talk about Victoria.
That's my girl. Girl, you floored us. From the moment you came out and sang, acted like a 45 to 50-year-old woman, I did not know who that was on stage. That character definitely is very demanding, and you are very professional in the sense of the way that you portrayed her. It was very unique. It definitely had its own spark. I could not take my eyes off of you, and I could literally hear a pin drop when you were singing. From the audience, just definitely just paying attention to every single word you were saying. I thought you were incredible. You have a very unique voice, and I think it's just perfect for this character and this show.
This entire cast, like, and I don't want to like not mention the men in this cast.
Oh yeah,
because Tanner and Liam, you guys held your own. Like, I mean, it's really, it can be intimidating because I've been there. Like, it can be intimidating when you have to sing with some really strong women. Yeah, strong female voices. But you guys held your own. Like, I don't want you to feel like you didn't, and that's why I wanted to mention it, because it really, without you, the show wouldn't work either. Like, I mean, if your voices weren't there, and if they weren't just as strong and like unique on their own, like it wouldn't have made sense. Like if you guys were down here and you weren't. So I really want to applaud you guys too, because you guys did a fantastic job, and the ensemble overall too. Yeah, sincerely, I mean, those harmonies killed me, still kill me to this day.
Their music director put in the work with those harmonies. I love harmonies to the day I die. That's all I do. I just harmonize with whatever I hear. I thought it was so perfect. The blend was just beautiful. Nobody was overpowering anybody. And that's how it should be. Yeah. That's how an ensemble should be. It should be an equal opportunity of work. And I thought it was just wonderful. I have to shout out Luciano. You're my favorite king. Alejandra. Alejandra. How, girl? How can you steal a scene like that? Like, you're such a tool. I love this school. I love that. It was so perfect. I love you, Ale. Your acting is so effortless, and I wish I had that. And yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah. Anyway, guys, this show was great. Super great. All the shows that we talked about today were really good. Yeah. You guys should be very proud of all the performances that you guys put out there. Amazing work, guys. This season was just so good to be back, and finally be able to watch live theater again. And I just hope it can continue and keep growing and getting stronger and stronger every year. And I feel very confident about the future for theater in the Valley.
Agree.
And I can't wait to see what you guys do. On to 1X season.
Oh yes.
But
my fave.
Anyway, guys, we just want to close out this video and tell you that it has been such a fun time getting to sit here in these stools again and talk to you guys about these shows. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Like we always say, our opinion doesn't matter, but thank you so much for listening to it. And we hope you guys enjoy these videos, and we hope to keep making them for many years to come. So with that being said, we will close out this video by saying thank you so much. And as always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much.
Bye. See you this summer when we do.
Shut up.